20 bucks on day one. Let's hear it for day one DLC, everybody. In all honesty, I was kind of optimistic about this DLC pack on its initial reveal. Two of my favorite Persona 5 characters on an adventure together sounds pretty cool, but it really did not take long for my optimism to turn into pessimism. It takes place during Sai's arc, so it's not so much as my two favorite characters working together, as much as it is two of my favorite characters before they were actually who they are supposed to be working together. So that's fun. So without further ado, let's talk about Repaint Your Heart.
You, certainly have a way with words.
Someone tell me why this exists. Not from a fan service standpoint, I know why it exists for real, but I want to know what this contributes to the story. For one, it's not good. I think there are elements of the story that are potentially good. Luca is a decently fun character, and the ideas they have are somewhat decent, but it feels like the whole story is a rushed version of Tactica's main plot with different, less fleshed out, and less interesting characters. Who's this? What's her purpose? Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Wowie zowie!
I'm taking issue with this DLC because it doesn't do anything exciting from a story standpoint. Having Akechi, Kasumi, and Joker together could easily be a fun way if the story is just gonna be erased from happening. But the game never does anything super fun with it. They just subtly hint towards these other sides of the characters. Like Kasumi gets sad about Luca's sister, and Akechi gets mad about manipulation. The characters don't know that they can be themselves yet, or that they are themselves yet, so nothing ever feels like it matters. I complain about this way too much, and by the time this was coming out, I had almost no hope for this DLC to have a purpose behind blatant fan service, but it doesn't even do that super well. I can accept things like PQ and PQ2 because they are unapologetically fan service games in a way that's pretty much impossible for it to exist in any canonical spin-off. I cannot really accept this because there was 100% a way to make this a canonical spin-off, but Atlus is too afraid or too uninterested, I don't know what it is, to move beyond. You can't spoil Akechi and Kasumi who they really are, even though, people know. You know, we can't have that. Can't do a story that will actually contribute anything. Ooh, is Akechi alive? Who knows? Let's insert this scene at the end of Royal that we're never gonna elaborate on. So, if you haven't caught on, I'm not wowed by this story. I like pieces of it, but the problem is that those pieces do not make a complete puzzle. To summarize the plot, there have been massive graffiti pieces being drawn around Tokyo by an artist named Guernica. One day, Kasumi calls Joker and asks him to come to an alley, I think it's in Yongen, I don't really remember, and she shows him a piece that strangely has arsene in it. And Akechi is coincidentally also investigating these pieces, and then, a vacuum sucks them into this world. If you played main story Tactica, this is pretty obvious. It's made by Guernica's Heart. And that's the gist of it. Pretty harmless overall, but it does not serve a purpose. In the end, again, while pieces of the plot work, this is just a big nothing burger. It serves as a prologue to Tactica's main story, while having almost nothing to do with Tactica at all. So, it's not really that good. Atlus is allergic to putting Sumire into this story. I mean, you could have had her in Tactica's main story. I know she was away for some extended period of time between them having that conversation and Joker leaving, but she could have been there. You didn't have to make this DLC pack. Listen, even if Akechi is absent for a game, I don't think anyone is gonna die. Let's be real. I mean, he was absent for Strikers too, because, yeah, that's all I got for the story part. It's not that good. If you just want it for the story, don't play this. Go play Persona 5 again, or literally anything else. Do not play the DLC if you're looking for a good story.
Oh no! I didn't ask you here for anything shady. Did you think I was going to mug you?
And you know what? Despite how scathing I'm being right now, there are elements that I did enjoy. The Repaint Your Heart DLC introduces a new mechanic, paint. you know, because Repaint Your Heart. By covering the terrain with your team's color, you can create spaces where the enemies are unsafe. Basically allows you to down an enemy regardless of if they have cover. And it also allows you to stop enemies from acting on certain tiles. You can change the color of the terrain by blowing up paint buckets, hitting enemies, killing enemies, the usual. Conversely, this also works against you, where the enemies can also do the same thing. Your party cannot act while on the opposing team paint's color, and they can also get down more easily even if they are behind cover. This creates a genuinely interesting new layer to Tactica's combat. Akechi and Kasumi are also wholly unique party members. Akechi being the only almighty user, and Kasumi being the only blessed user. They have their own unique skills, like Akechi allows the entire party to take another action, and Kasumi's lets her reposition to wherever she chooses, so as long as she doesn't go up a ladder or dash across to another platform. And I found this whole new layer of combat to be fun and refreshing. It felt like a great idea for a whole game if they chose to expand on it. Unfortunately, this doesn't up the difficulty at all. The experience is pretty short, so you gain Persona's GP and levels at increased rates, and it's generally just very linear, which is fine, but it does feel bad that even the Velvet Room takes a backseat to this story. All in all, while the gameplay experience is still fun and unique, this DLC is low on variety, and the chance of you replaying it for any sort of variety is low.
Why, you smug little bird brain.
Whoa, Zowie!
This experience is ultimately just cobbled together, because fan service sells. You're not rewarded for completing this story until Tactica's New Game Plus, where you can actually use Akechi and Kasumi, though obviously they won't appear in any story content. I know I went into this DLC kind of expecting to come out unimpressed, but this is exactly the kind of DLC I don't want Atlus making anymore. It's so bizarrely frustrating because almost everything Tactica's main game does works for me. I was skeptical of that, but no matter what, no matter how much the main story relieved my issues, I felt like the DLC was never gonna measure up. And it doesn't. The story is rushed and underdeveloped, the main cast is bland because they're stuck in this hyperbolic time chamber where they cannot reasonably show off their strengths as characters. I know the spin-offs have a habit of turning some characters into caricatures of themselves. Yeah, you know, this DLC kinda does that. You can't even grow attached to Akechi and Kasumi because you know this is a farce, a facade. None of it is going to make a difference because they will never express their feelings from their true selves in full. So yeah, if it's obvious, this is a don't buy this from me. Even with the extra 5 challenge stages, $20 for this is steep. I'm being overwhelmingly negative about this because I want to be clear that if Atlus intends to continue creating spin-offs, and they are story-related spin-offs, then from this point onward, there are no more gaps to fill. Any spin-off with story-related content should take place post-Strikers. There is zero reason to create a new story spin-off and have it be anything but a sequel to Strikers. If you're gonna do something like dancing or racing or something like that, then I don't really care. Like, you can kind of just have fun with that one, do a dream sequence, who cares? But if P5 is gonna get any more story spin-offs, please do not do any more memory wipe stuff. And what did you think of Repaint Your Heart? Did you think it was a fun side adventure? Did you not like it at all? Whatever your thoughts may be, you could leave a comment down below and let me know. As always, you can also leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel for more things Atlus, Persona, and JRPG related. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.